Hey Yokai Watchers, it's the L Games here, bringing you another episode of Yokai Watch for Nuzlocke. It sure has been a while, and the files for this video have been rotting on my computer for so long, so I decided it's finally time for you guys to see it. So you might be thinking, the L Games, didn't you say you're going to finish the Yokai Watch 1 Nuzlocke before continuing the Yokai Watch 4 Nuzlocke? And yes, I did say that, but I don't really care. If I'm being honest, I just haven't been able to finish the Yokai Watch 1 Nuzlocke yet. I'm pretty close to finishing recording though. And since there's been a drought of the Nuzlocke content, I said, why not give you guys this? Anyway, let's move on to the fun stuff. So this chapter takes place 30 years in the future, a few days before Nate arrived. So in this chapter, we start off playing as Summer, who happens to be Nate's daughter. I'm not going to really get into the full story of how she got a yokai watch and stuff, because that's in the Shadow Side movie, which you should totally watch, by the way. Really good movie. We also got 3 brand new yokai, which, I named Shadow Side Jabanion after myself, of course. Why wouldn't I? I decided to name Shadow Side Komusan after 101 Leafy, since we're going with a yokai tuber theme for now. Lastly, I named Michi after Chromanize, which I totally butchered the spelling of that. With that out of the way, we left the house and Michi scared of the dang ghost dog. Then we went on a nice stroll to see what Komusan was up to. So in case you don't know this Komusan is not the same Komusan as present Komusan. This Komusan has a completely different backstory. He actually got crushed by a rock and turned into a yokai. He says something about wanting to use the Crankakai, which he doesn't even have hands. How would that work? But there's something mysterious happening with it, so we have to investigate. So I investigated and the camera just bugged out. Just look at this. Then there's this fun little tutorial where we learn how to use the grippy stuff. It turns out there's a yokai behind it this whole time, so we have to fight him. And let's go! There's my boy, Lightside Jabanion. Then Michi decides to crash the party and he's like, hey, I'm gonna help you guys fight too. This battle was incredibly simple and really not worth mentioning. But yeah, I mentioned it anyway. So we got Komusan's coin bag, and he gave it to us. Now this is where we get a little bit of fun. You see, we aren't supposed to use the Crankakai, but we have to continue. So if we get a yokai from this Crankakai pull, we actually get a bonus yokai. Darn it. Well, never mind then. Then Natsume meets the seemingly random guy, who's actually not random, he's important later on. We meet up with Akinori and Toma and unlock Toma. Toma is one of the best attackers in the game, and he's basically overpowered. The 3 are part of a yokai detective agency when they solve yokai problems. Then we get to the fun thing everyone loves about Yokai Watch: key quests. After a short walk, we meet up with this couple who tells us about a yokai mystery for us to solve. Then it's off to the park for another walk. We investigate and find a new yokai named Paku. I don't really know what his deal is, but we fight him. We easily crush him and befriend him. Then we befriend Pakun and name him after Intercactus. It's just tonight, and we get to know a little bit more about what that guy's up to. He's actually a yokai in human form, and him along with some other yokai are looking for a princess. So far, their searches have been very inconclusive. They use that little tree twig thing to figure out who the princess is. Then we can continue on with another key quest, which means we have to do a lot of walking. I also decided to switch to Toma for better attacking. We listen to these girls talk about some mysterious event, and then we go on our way. Then we meet up with the monkey yokai Kansaru, which there's a lot of stuff you can do with him, including befriending, so you should check out the cone guide I made. Anyway, he wants to teach us about befriending. Then he has us fight this fish yokai. It literally just looks like a fish. It's very boring design. This battle was pretty uneventful and simple. Afterwards, Kansaru teaches us how to befriend yokai, and we get to befriend our new fishy guy. I decided to name him after Frost Shogunyan. If you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. This took me a very long time to make. Anyway, so I continue on with the next key quest, which teaches you something about secret items called the Michi marks. If you get 100 of them, you can get Super Michi, which we won't be doing in this Nuzlocke because that would take a long time. After completing the second key quest, I was able to move on to the third key quest. This key quest required me to get one of every type of ice cream, which I knew about ahead of time, so I decided to do it early. So anyway, if you can hear chirping in the background, I tried recording and the birds wouldn't shut up. We investigate some tire tracks and conclude that they're probably related to a yokai. After searching, we find the bike yokai Charlie. That's right, he literally just looks like a bike, with hands and eyes. But then he turns into Shadow Side form, which is like a demon bike thing. I forgot to mention that I decided to turn back to Summer because I'd rather have better healing so all my yokai can survive. Like most fights, this one was pretty easy. So Charlie turns back to his light side form and allows us to take the bikes. Then Summer asks her father Nate to repair the bikes and he agrees. This is the part when we use the ice cream we got earlier because everyone wanted ice cream during the bike thing. We unlocked Summer and Toma's bikes. We also befriended Charlie, who I named after Nag, the editor for the Plumage Productions videos. And you know what finally happened? We completed all 3 key quests. We are good to go with the story. Oh wait, there's a 4th key quest. This is fine because key quest number 4 is the actual story. I don't know why it's considered a key quest though. So we met up with Summer's brother, Tate. That's right, his name is Tate. That's a terrible localized name. Anyway, there's some mysterious thing happening with him and his friends and we need to investigate it. So we decided to do a little bit of sneaking around, and yep, there's a creepy yokai stalking the kids. So we decided to chase him, and we found this heart. Yeah, that's pretty suspicious, finding guts and hearts. The gang used a weird grippy thing and found him. So essentially, he lost a bunch of his body parts, and we're returning them to him. So I don't really know exactly what's happening here, which I will definitely know before we do that part of the fan dub. Shout out to that, by the way. Check out the teaser. But I think he's in love with some human girl or something like that, so we gotta have him confess love or something. So then he goes to confess his love, and this other yokai shot him with this thing. That's right, he's the big boss of this chapter. And if you remember what I said in the Yokai Watch 1 Nuzlocke Chapter 8, I forgot to record my battle reaction. So, yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, it's boss time. I decided to start the battle off with Shadow Jabanian and totally mess up his ultimate. Then I switched to Komo-san to do his ultimate. Shadow Jabanian had taken a beating, so I decided to switch in Intercactus. And somehow, Intercactus got freaking one-shotted. How does that happen? So yeah, then I switched him out for Nag. Nag's ultimate did a good amount of damage. We decided to avenge Intercactus by ripping out this guy's heart. This was a perfect opportunity to do more damage. Then Toma's watch started doing something magical. At this part of the fight, you can't switch into yokai, you can only use Toma. Toma was pretty low health, so I was freaking out. Luckily, I was able to heal him up a slight bit with some food, but my food heals so little that it's basically a necessity for us to get more food in the next chapter. Then we were able to transform into Fudomio. I healed up Shadowside Jabanian because I was worried he was going to die. I got really close to defeating the boss fight with not a single other casualty. Let's go! We won! So then some boring romantic stuff happens again. Then out of nowhere, this mysterious yokai that I really need to look up the name of appears. He attempts to hurt us, but luckily Kiara gets in the way and saves us. Anyway, then Whisper sucks up to him. So yeah, that's the end of chapter 2. Sorry for such a delay. I really hope to have these out more consistently. I'll be back soon with the Yokai Watch 1 Nuzlocke finale.